Man United, they drew 3-3, scored in the dying moments of the game. Harry Maguire getting them out of a massive hole. Bruno Fernandes sent off, but they went 2-0 up and ended up almost losing the game. They get a point, and I'm sure Ten Hag will come out and say that it shows good character and mentality and, you know, a good performance away from home. And he's just, honestly, I can't hear any more of this rubbish from their manager. They ain't good enough. It's as simple as that. Man United fans can have their say. Let's go to Remi. He's a United fan. All right, Rem.
Hello, all right, mate. How's it going?
I'm all right, Rem. I'm all right. Look, you phone us up a lot, mate, and it just feels like every week I'm talking to you about the same thing.
Yeah, these calls are recorded, right?
Yes.
Okay, so nothing that I say, like, you can actually verify it, because I think a couple times ago when I called, I think it was just after we signed De Ligt, and I was just like, why have we brought this guy in? He flopped at Juventus. He's flopped under two managers at Bayern Munich. He's not going to come to United and move the needle. I'm sure you can sort of verify.
Hold on, I'm just going to have a look through your call list. Remi from August 23rd phones up about De Ligt. He says, Remi says, De Ligt's a top player. Can't wait for him to be involved in the team. It's going to be a well beater. That's what he says here, Rem.
Yeah, that didn't happen, mate.
I don't think that happened either, Remi, mate.
But yeah, you know what it is, mate. It was a game of two halves. Like, we started off well, 2 goals. Rashford really should have banged in a third just before half time. He comes off a Garnacho.
What did we know, Rem? Do we know why he come off? Was that?
He didn't say. It's not been. I think it was like tactical reasons.
Is it
Maybe
tactical, or was he resting him? I don't know, but it seemed like a weird one.
From my perspective, mate, at 2-0 going on, looking like we're going to get a third, maybe he thought, okay, let's get him 45 minutes fresher for Villa on Sunday. We should be cruising. And then, you know, we just capitulated at the back. The Martinez and De Ligt partnership doesn't seem to be taking off. So fingers crossed, Lenny Euro comes back quickly. But it's just like, I was speaking to one of my mates at half time. I was like, why don't we just throw a Bayandere in goal? Because, you know, like, Anana seems to be making mistakes. And he's just like, mate, Anana makes too many saves. And I'm like, it's true. He makes really good saves, but the ABC 1, 2, 3 seems to go past him way too often. And that's the issue. Like, you know, you make the most fantastic save, but the most routine seems to go past you. I don't know if you noticed, Van Nistelrooy got a yellow card and he was heated. Ten Hag's just sitting on the bench like a defeated person.
Yeah, I know.
That takes me back to the Van Gaal era when the writing was on the wall of Van Gaal and he just sat there slumped on the bench. Yeah. And it's like,
whenever I see an assistant manager like up and that irate, and then the manager sat in the dugout, I'm thinking, especially because it's Nistelrooy as well, I'm looking there thinking, it looks like they've got 2 managers on the bench. Like, he doesn't feel like an assistant manager for me, Nistelrooy.
Can I say, do you know when you see Ten Hag watching games and it pans to Ten Hag, I really see him barking instructions. I just see him standing there watching the game like a supporter. I don't see him telling players to do this movement, shape this, tactical changes here. I see absolutely nothing. I just see him steering on the pitch thinking, what's going to happen next? He don't bring anything to the team. I don't know if the players don't trust him or they don't listen to him. He just got nothing about him.
He's got one plan. He's a one-plan man. So it's like he sets out his plan, and if it works, we might win. If it doesn't, he doesn't have all the different options. Like, you see like how you'll see Arteta changing it up, Pep changing it up, even Arne Slot changing it up.
Unai Emery.
Arteta can't exactly. We have one game plan, and that game plan lasts for 90 minutes, and he will die on that sword. And it's a little bit ignorant, but it's just like, I don't know, the writing's on the wall. And as Jamie said, Jason, sorry, you know, we didn't exactly extend him. He had an option for 1 year further on his 3, and we just exercised the option for 1. But yeah, I don't see him lasting too much longer. Like, I don't want my team to lose, but at the same time, if we can rescue the season, mate, like, it's only early October, do you know what I mean?
Right, hold on, Rem. Here's a question for you then. If they lost on Sunday, is it Sunday? To Aston Villa, if they lost, and I guaranteed you that Ten Hag was going to go after that game because they lost, would you want Man United to lose?
Yes, I'll just be real.
You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace.
I'm all for it. Remi.
You're a disgrace,
I think that's the right choice.
You are a disgrace.
Sometimes you've got to put your team first.
Yeah.
And if it means take a loss, got to do it.
Which I think we're going to anyway, and we can bring in somebody else who's either going to steady the ship or get a long-term manager in. Yes, like in the summer, I was telling my friends, like, yo, before Hansi Flick went to Barca, I was like, we should get him. And they're like, nah, he got sacked by Germany. I was like, what does that mean? He won a 6-tuplet with Bayern Munich. Now look at him, he's storming La Liga. That could have been us. We looked at Pochettino, he's gone to USA. We've spoken to Thomas Tuchel. For whatever reason, that's not happened. And we've stuck with this guy. And it's like, he's turned us into a cup team. It kind of reminds me of Arsenal about 6 years ago when you're stat padding with cups, but your league performances are getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, there's going to be a bunch of Arsenal fans hollering at me after this because, like, last time I was a couple of my boys hollering at me. And they're like, oh, you called into talkSPORT. But that's how I see us becoming. We are a domestic cup team. He talks about trophies, but I think there's 2 tiers here. The old Man United focused on winning the Premier League and the Champions League. We are now focused on winning the League Cup and the FA Cup. In 27 years, Alex Ferguson won 5 FA Cups and only 4 League Cups, but he managed to win 13 Premier Leagues and he won 2 Champions Leagues going to 4 finals. We have completely paradigm shifted this, yeah? And, you know, Ten Hag is just, you know, papering over the cracks, winning FA Cups. And that's what Arsenal did for a long time. And we are now them. Do you see what I mean?
Totally.
It's just ridiculous, mate.
Rem, just quickly, Bruno, he got sent off. Would you take the captaincy off him?
I would take it off of him, mate. He's not a leader. He isn't a leader. Like, when he first came, he blew on the scene, scored a lot of goals, banged in a lot of penalties. But it's like, he is not a leader of men. He's too petulant. He's throwing his hands in the air. And, you know, like, he doesn't galvanise the team. When the chips are down, you don't look at Bruno to spur everybody on, do you?
Absolutely not. And I said this previously.
Yeah.
Many times.
Would you take... I wouldn't take the caps.
I won't take the caps off because it's harsh. And players don't... It doesn't sit well with players. If you take the captaincy off players mid-season, it doesn't sit well. And it can cause a massive rift. End of the season, yes, you can put a new captain. But during the season, mid-season, it's kind of a no-no. It's like subbing a sub.
Just on subbing subs... Rashford, I've been trying to find out why he took him off because he was really good in the first half, in my opinion. Scored a goal, full of confidence, and he dragged him at half time. And it wasn't to do with injury; it's the fact that he wanted Garnacho to come on.
Obviously, he's got one eye on the Villa game. That's the only reason because he's not like
he just said he wants to rotate. Garnacho didn't start, and he wanted players to be fresh. He dragged Rashford.
That's poor man management. Because if you're Rashford now, you're
Rashford,
raging. You're raging.
Hold on a minute. I've just rocked up, played really well.
Scored a goal.
Causing all sorts of havoc. And you've dragged me at half time.
It's just poor management. That is very, very bad man management.
Go on assist. First half, he's got Rashford and gets taken off.
That's not going to be happy.
How's that right?
And he needs this. He needs this for his confidence. The more confidence you get, the better a player is going to be, and the better for Man United.
Let's go to Matt, who's a Man United fan. All right, Matt?
Hello, how are we?
I'm all right, Matty. You?
Yeah, you know, I lost the game tonight, so you know where we are.
They're bad beyond the window.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with us, mate. Nothing to do with us.
We've got no buttons to press here.
Look, you get yourselves out of a hole with Harry Maguire saves your bacon, really, but...
Sort of, right. I watched the game at the pub with 6 lads around me, just whinging. Right. I'm a Stratford ender. I'm 31 years old. Been going since 97. Remember Jason Ewell scoring against us in my first ever game. I love the club.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out, because I'll support the manager that's in front of me. What I want to say is there's 2 things that are bothering me. The narrative about Ten Hag's poor transfers and poor signings.
Okay, what's the narrative around that though? Because
I thought it's kind of black and white, straightforward.
So we say quite often, why did Ten Hag sign Anthony? Why has he signed, I think Delit's been, he's 4 games in, let's be honest.
Okay.
We used to give people a season to settle in, but he's walked into a structure and a club that, let's remember, after David Gill and Fergie left, we bought Fellaini for 5 mil extra. For Everton he was. But we bought him for 5 mil extra because we forgot to buy him earlier and we couldn't sign Cesc or Bale at the time. We've had Di Maria, Sanchez. We let Pogba go on a free. Then we bought him for 80 mil. Then we sold him on a free. We got a £50 million offer for Lingard in January from West Ham. Rather than take it, we kept him, didn't play him, and then he went on a free. Ten Hag has walked into a disarray of a club that was run, was run by Ed Woodward, where our transfers for the last 12 years have been shambolic. This summer, I think we've done better. The bar was low, don't get me wrong, but we have done better. But I don't like that we're saying Ten Hag signings. Why is our manager responsible for these signings? Do you think?
What do you mean? He's the manager. I know you have a sporting director, but the manager should have the power to be like, I want that player, I want this player, go and try and get him.
So as of 4 or 5 months ago, he's had a structure behind him to do that, and that's why I think that our signings of Ugarte, De Ligt, Mazraoui, they're only 4 or 5 games in. Let's not write them off yet. They could become better.
Where's the evidence of them getting better, though? You know, he's signing players from Ajax.
But why is he being asked to sign them? Do you think Pep scouted Alvarez?
Yeah,
from
of course
South America? I think he was given from a scout a video saying...
You might see a video, but he's still going to say yes or no, and then he's going to watch the videos himself and have his own judgment.
But I believe that before this summer, Woodward probably went to Ten Hag saying, lads, I don't know who to buy. Who should we get? So Ten Hag could only turn to Ajax.
Honestly, if that's the case at Manchester United Football Club, you're in the biggest hole I've ever heard of. I don't know who to sign.
That's not
what
the
are you
case.
going on about.
Ten Hag would have said, I need certain X, Y, Z of players. He knows the Ajax lot because he's played with them, he's managed them through Ajax. So he would have gone to the scouting department and said, right, this is what I need in this position, this is what I'm looking for. They would have came back to him and said, X, Y, Z's available. He would have gone, right, I want the green light, I want this player, I want that player, I want this player. He spent 600 million, right? And the only players that he haven't bought was Garnacho, Rashford, Dilla and Maguire. The rest of the lot, the rest of them have been his yes or his signings. That's the whole team, more or less.
Before this summer, the signings have been absolutely awful. I cannot agree more.
Right, but that's down to the manager.
But it's only until this summer that we've had a structure.
But that's down to the manager as well.
Ownership as well. He should have the people around him to give him ideas, which we haven't had until this summer. That's my devil's advocate. And again, I'm not Ten Hag in. I don't know if I'm in or out. But until
if you get beat on Sunday, are you Ten Hag out?
So my point, that was the next thing I was going to say. I want to be, but who do we bring in next? So
we got Van Nistelrooy.
So it's Van Nistelrooy who's had 1 year experience at, was it PSV or Feyenoord? PSV.
Yeah.
So we'll bring him in until the end of the season. Great. But is that an upward step? Is that reaching levels of, Klopp, Pep, Arteta? No. I love Ruud, by the way. Like, great striker. But is he going to take us to the next level? No. It's going to be a stopgap until the end of the season. That's not what...
It can't be any worse than this.
I know, but what? Yeah,
it can't get any worse than this.
You're kicking the can down the road, Matt.
Just keep it in there.
Do you see Ten Hag being your manager next season?
No, but I also don't want to take a sideways step and bring in...
Why not? It might work.
Because
it can't be any worse. You're 13th in the table and you ain't won a game in Europe.
We've
done 1 in 10.
Of sideways steps. We've done Ollie, Mourinho, Van Gaal. We've brought in supposedly great managers and got nowhere. If we take another sideways step, I'll ring you in a year's time and I'll be in the same position.
Yeah, but Van Nistelrooy not. Van Nistelrooy is a means to an end.
For how long and what's he going to achieve?
You might, Ancelotti might be available in the summer. Do you know what I mean?
I'd love that. It's sad because it's October and the season almost feels like it's over. That's where it's hard. But if we move sideways, what are we going to gain?
Well, at the moment, you're moving backwards. You're not moving sideways at the moment. You're actually going backwards.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.